Welcome, fellow warriors. This is Dao Paleo, and I am Rokas Balčiūnas. And today we'll have another lesson with the spear. So in the previous lesson, we learned about the strike with the spear, both to the knee and to the head. And I didn't mention in the previous lesson, but I will be emphasizing today about the directions of the strikes. So when we have the thrust, we don't actually are interested in the direction because it's only one direction there. But when we have the strike, we are already concerned about the direction of the strike. So in this case, when I'm standing in the left stance, so we have left foot forward. When I have the strike is from the left, from my left. And the same would be strike to the knee, from the left. This was the simplest strike, that's why I called it basic strike, but actually it doesn't cover all the directions that we would need. So first of all, we have to think about the line of attack. So when we talk about the line of attack is where we stand on. And when we stand, we have one foot forward, so facing forward, and the other foot is a rear foot, so we can take power from it. But this is not the symmetric stance. As you can see, one foot is forward, and there are two sides, and one side is not the same, not symmetrical to the other side. For example, here I can actually brace someone, I can move around, I can manipulate things on this side, and here I can actually, my back is facing that side. So therefore, I call these two sides not left or right, because that would be the opposite if I stand in the right stance. So generally, we could name these sides like inside and outside. So therefore, the inside is in front of me, and the outside is to the back. So when I was teaching the strike, I took the strike to the inside. So from the center line to the inside. So this was the easy direction, easy and very applicable strike. But what would you do if you have to strike from the opposite side? So for example, if there's an opening not from that side, but of the opposite side of the opponent, how can you strike that way? So actually, if we look at the first stance that I was teaching, it's not applicable in fight, but it actually is very good to practice and start practicing the strike. So as before, we can think of the same movement that I'm moving forward as before. So I move my hands forward as before. But when I was angling the hands, I angled this way. This was the easy way. I have to now move the opposite way. So I'm a bit in less convenient position as I was before. And this lower hand actually moves to the other side of my body, and the upper hand moves to the opposite side here. And I have to turn my body to twist my hips, not to the direction of the movement, so not more to the inside, but I actually have to twist the hips to the outside. So when I look from the side, I see that instead of twisting hips and going to more convenient position, I actually straighten the hips, moving more to the straight position to be able to strike from the outside. So when I combine everything, movement forward, movement with the hands, and angling of the body, I get this strike. So this strike is not the same as before, but you can see that it follows, the spear in this case, follows the same trajectory, just from another side. Now, several things are important here. First of all, if you look at the stance, you see that my lower hand is actually close to my body and almost on the opposite side here. So there is no way I can stretch it further as I did on this side. my arm is not long enough. But at the same time, it shouldn't be overstretched, so it would be free from my grip. So it's somewhere here. Sometimes in some manuscripts you can find that it should be in the armpit, but I don't find it very, very convenient, and it loses, so we have different positions of the arm, so it loses the integrity. So it's on that side. Now this arm, which is higher here, has to still maintain the grip which follows the direction. So it was easy to do when I was striking to the inside. When I'm striking to the outside, I have to twist my hand to be able to generate force there. So we start with this position, we move forward, and we strike. I twist my hand a bit, I move my body, so there is no power that can be generated from the hands here. All the power is generated from the movement of the hip here. Here. So if you look from the side, here. It is very important not to overstretch, not to lean more or somehow twist more than you need, just enough to have a strike from the inside to the outside. Here. Here. It is very important to try to keep your shoulders level as possible. It is not so convenient to keep them level because this hand is a bit more tense, but we shouldn't twist our body that much that the shoulders wouldn't be on the same level. The difference is more that this shoulder is more tense and this one is more relaxed, but generally I keep the straight backbone here. Now, strike to the knee is even more difficult. So when I have to strike to the knee, the same, my hand goes here, this hand goes here, I twist, but at the same moment I have to change the level of the hands, so they have to change positions, so they have to change the heights. And as you can see, it tends actually to press to my body. So therefore, when I strike, I want to strike to the knee, I have to bend a bit. So this hand moves somewhere, ends up somewhere in the armpit, and this hand somewhere actually in front of my navel. So when I strike, it looks like this. So from the side, when I strike, it looks like this. So I don't move my hand to the armpit. It actually is there. It is stable in front of my side here, and this hand here. So the strike is still from the outside, but with the movement of the hip. So once more, try not to over crouch here, not strike with your waist, still keeping the stance, which would be straight from the neck till the hip, and from the hip till the foot. But it is not very convenient stance. So therefore, usually, if you apply it in some sparring, you would be in that position for a very short period of time. So strike, strike, and that's it. Strike, and that's it. So once more, 2 strikes. One of them is, one of them is to the outside here, and the other one is to the outside here. And from the side, it looks like this, here and here. Now, these are still not applicable. These are more to practice the directions and to feel the difference of the angles here. So once more, of course, we can practice from another side. So this is from the inside and from the outside. So, sorry, to the inside and to the outside. And the same would be to the knee. So the one that we practiced before and the one that we practiced today. Now, in application, you would start from the thrust position, and as before, we learned that we could strike to the head, to the knee, by twisting my rear hand, in this case clockwise, if I'm standing in the leftmost position, or anti-clockwise to strike here. Now we will use the same trajectory. So we had trajectory to, if we follow the tip, to the to the outside and in. So the same should be here, to the inside and out. So we strike like this, here, bum, here, here, here. Strike, and the opposite would be here, would be here. So you can see I move my hand to the opposite direction and add this hand. And when I raise, I add this direction, I support with my palm. So strike here, strike here, strike here, strike here, strike here, strike here. So this is the strike from actually prepared position. Now it is a bit more difficult as before to strike the knee because you have to engage both hands. It's not enough to move this hand, but you have to engage both hands to be able to move that hand to the opposite side. So here it was easier this way, so you have to move both hands. Here you turn and strike here, strike here, here. So from the side, I twist the hand here, here, from this side, and I twist to the opposite side, here, here, and here. So when you compare these two applied strikes, so the one that we've done before, this basic strike, follows the trajectory, the tip follows the trajectory to the outside in, and then to the knee would be outside in. So the same, I would say, like a heart shape would be so outside in. So then to the opposite would be here. So I move here, here, here. And to the knee, I move here, here, and here. So as you can see, the hands, it's easy to slip into the motion of the hands, but you actually have to engage and try to engage the hip and generate power from the hip, because this is a very narrow movement and hands are not enough to generate power to form a strike. It's not just a parry, it's something that we will practice in the next lesson, how to apply these strikes for the parries. But first of all, we have to learn to generate the power. So in order to do that, as before, we move in with the whole body, and we strike with the whole body, and we strike with the whole body, and here and here. So the movement is from the hip. So you have to join your power from the legs to the shoulders and the torso from the hip. So when you join everything together, you see that we have now strike, which is, thrust. We have a strike to the head. We have strike to the knee. We have strike to the outside and strike to the outside. And I would say these would be 90% of the moves that you would be applying either in sparring or actually practically in fighting, because these are the basics. And all the flamboyant movements of something like this would be actually more to show off or apply in very specific situations when you see the opening and you use that timing to engage in, and hit that opening. But generally, to generate openings, to feint and find the opening, you would be using thrust, strike from one side and to the another side. So thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you, so I say bye.